welcome back. I'm Anna, and today I'm going to teach you how to do the knit stitch. You've already casted on your project and you're ready to move on and learn how to knit. Let's get started. So to get started with the knit stitch, you're going to take your newly casted on stitches and hold them in your left hand. You're going to look for the yarn that's attached to the ball, which is called your working yarn. The shorter strand you do not want to use because you'll quickly run out of yarn. So using the yarn that's attached to the ball, I'm going to show you how to knit using the Continental method. I like to wrap this yarn around my pinky and then my index finger to create tension as I'm working through my stitches. I'm then going to hold the rest of my stitches with my left hand. My right hand is free to use my free needle and work the stitches right to left, building the fabric as we go. So to get started, the cast on row is a little bit more difficult than working in the middle of the piece, but to get started with your project and to get started with the knit stitch, you're going to take your right hand needle and enter the first stitch from the front towards the back, creating this crisscross with your needles. Again, you want to take your right hand needle, enter the first stitch from the front towards the back. Once you're in this position, you can then use the tip of your right needle to loop around the yarn that you're holding with your index finger. I like to use my other index finger to hold this yarn secure. I'm then going to slide my right hand needle closer towards me as I work the tip to pick up this stitch underneath. I now have the stitch on my right hand needle and I'm ready to release the stitch from my left hand needle. Again, the first stitch looks a little bit weird, but as we continue to work, it will look a lot better. I'm going to enter the front of the stitch towards the back, creating this crisscross in my needles. I'll then loop around my working yarn, holding it secure with my right hand. I'll pull the right hand needle closer towards me until I can poke through and pick up that stitch. Once I have the stitch on my right hand needle, I will work to remove the stitch on the left hand needle. Continuing on, I'll enter from the front towards the back, looping around the working yarn and pulling through to release. Front to back, looping around the working yarn, pulling through, and then release. The knit stitch will be the same whether you're on your very first row or you're later into your project in the middle of a row. I'll show you here so you get a better sense. I'm going to continue to hold the yarn the same in my left hand, looping around my pinky and my index finger, and holding the stitches I haven't yet worked in my left hand. I'll use my right hand and my right hand needle to continue working the stitches. To do the knit stitch, I'm going to enter through the front of the stitch towards the back, creating this crisscross with my needles. I'll loop around the working yarn, holding that working yarn secure with my right hand index finger. Hold the right needle closer towards me until I can catch the stitch with my right needle. And once that stitch is on there, remove the needle from the left. I'll continue through the end of the row, working the knit stitch. When you reach the end of the row, you're going to switch your hands. So now all the stitches that I've completed are in my right hand. I'll move these stitches over to my left hand, reposition the yarn, the working yarn, in my left hand, and continue with my free needle, working right to left to continue to grow the fabric. Thanks for tuning in.